Good. All right. Ready, commissioners?
Yes, bad boy to order.
All right.
Who's that?
Good afternoon, and welcome to the September 12th meeting of the Bethlehem City Planning Commission. I'm Matt Malozzi, Vice Chair. Our Chair, Rob Malosky, is not able to be here this evening, so I will fill in his stead. Other commissioners to my left are Tom Barker, Joy Cohen, and Eddie Burgos. As we begin, I'll read the prepared statement. We ask that everyone please turn off cell phones or put them on silent at this time. We will proceed through today's projects as they're listed on the agenda. The applicant will have a chance to present their project to the commission as the agenda item is called. Following that presentation, city staff will provide an overview of the city's comments and a recommendation. Then planning commission members will have an opportunity to direct questions related to the project to both the applicant and city staff. Following planning commission discussion, interested parties will have an opportunity to comment on or ask questions related to the project. All interested parties will be asked to give their name and address for the record. They should also sign their name, address, and email address on the sign-in sheet provided. We will adhere to a 5-minute time limit for each member of the public, and each person will have one opportunity to speak. We ask that all comments be related to the project proposal under review, and that all comments be related to the land use issues of the project. When there are a significant number of interested parties, we request that members of the public be concise in their testimony and avoid repeating previously made assertions. After all interested parties have had an opportunity to speak, the Planning Commission members will have a final opportunity to deliberate on the project. The review of the Planning Commission is based on the provisions of the Subdivision and Land Development Ordinance, the Zoning Ordinance, and other municipal ordinances as applicable. Decisions will be based on these applicable ordinances, the recommendations of the city's professional staff, pertinent public comment, and the public good. I'm going to request that we change the order on the agenda tonight. Flip item number 2 and 3 in the interest of the applicants. No offense to the city staff that have made it here, but we'll be going through the non-utility capital improvement plan. You're all welcome to stay for that presentation, but we thought we'd bring you up first this evening to make your presentation for the commission. Is that all right, city staff? Okay. Thank you very much. So, all right with the applicant?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. However, we will stick with the first item on the agenda, which is the approval of the minutes from the August 15th Planning Commission meeting. Are there any comments from city staff or the commissioners on the minutes? No comments. We'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes
Ms.
from
Cohen,
the August 15th meeting.
thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, properly moved and seconded. Any final comments or discussion items? All in favor of approving the minutes? Please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, thank you. So now we will jump to item number 3, which is a land development plan review for 2300 City Line Road and a sidewalk deferral request. Go with deferral, correct? That's
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
sidewalk deferral request. So would the applicant please come forward, and if you have to set anything up, now would be a good time. Otherwise,
Podium all right?
This
Or
table. if
table?
you want, yeah, I mean, if it's easier.
thank you.
Good evening. My name is Mary Bockert. I'm a project manager at Bowler Engineering, the project's civil engineer. We're here this evening to discuss the application at 2300 City Line Road, the proposed warehouse expansion for Bosch Rexroth facilities. I have with me today the applicant, Andy Hassold from Bosch Rexroth, as well as Krista Kraftisian from Spillman Farmer Architects. Andy, if you'd like to introduce yourself briefly.
Sure. Thanks for having us tonight. My name is Andy Hassold. I'm the project manager and engineering manager at Bosch Rexroth here in Bethlehem. Been with the company for close to 20 years. We're very excited with this opportunity and the chance to bring it forward, substantiating our footprint of manufacturing, warehousing here in the Lehigh Valley for the years to come.
Thank you.
Thank you.
To date, we have the following letters and approvals in hand. We do have the City of Bethlehem letter dated August 21st, 24. We have received comments from LVPC, planning comments dated May 31st of 24. We also have a most recent round of Act 167 stormwater comments from LVPC dated August 21st of 24. That was revised and resubmitted on August 23rd. We expect admin completeness today or tomorrow in the NPDES process, and we do have the PADEP sewer exemption, which was approved on August 9th. This application before you this evening is for combined preliminary final land development application. The initial submission was made April 29th. We did resubmit at the request of city staff on July 19th, and that resubmission is what's before you this evening. Looking at the aerial that is up on the screen right now, you can see the existing building on the corners of Airport Road and City Line Road on the bottom there. The existing building is approximately 33,000 square foot. The lot is approximately 5.1 acres and is zoned GC General Commercial. The existing use of warehouse is by right. Would you mind bringing up the site plan?
Pardon me?
Would you mind bringing up the site plan?
Sure.
Perfect, thank you. The proposal is to expand the existing by right use of warehouse, which you can see on the right-hand side of the plan here with the shaded gray footprint. The proposal is to expand approximately 51,000 square feet for a total building footprint of just over 84,000 square feet. Access is provided on City Line Road with 2 full movement driveways, as well as full access onto Airport Road via the shared access drive with the adjacent parcel known as Triangle Tech. Loading docks and the truck court for the expanded warehouse area are on the east side or the lower side of the plan here, as you see it, 5 loading docks. And parking is provided on the subject site. Within that dark gray hatched area is the new proposed parking, and on the left-hand side, the existing parking is proposed to remain. 103 spaces are required and 103 spaces are proposed. Additional site amenities include landscaping and lighting updates within the limit of disturbance as required. We do have the buildings elevations available if anyone wants to look at them. I know they were in your packet, so you've probably already reviewed them. Happy to go over them though if you'd like, or we can skip ahead.
Is it this?
Yep. Okay, I'll skip ahead to stormwater then. In existing conditions, the majority of the site drains via surface flow and underground conveyance to the existing stormwater basin in the top left hand of the screen there. The existing basin is proposed to remain and be modified to install a synthetic liner. The tension will then be modified to hold the increased volume as required to be mitigated for the increase in impervious surfaces, and that volume difference will be mitigated across the site via spray irrigation. There's 2 discharge points, one to the existing swale on kind of the top right corner there, and the other is the basin. Both discharge under Airport Road and then converge further downstream. As I mentioned, existing drainage patterns are proposed to remain. We're just retrofitting the existing basin. We're not requesting any variances at this time. And then we do have 3 waivers that we had requested at the beginning here. It was noted that the sidewalk waiver would actually be a deferral that would be supported by city staff. Public Works had issued a memo of their support dated July 30th. And this would be a request for deferral of sidewalk along Airport Road. We have provided sidewalk along City Line Road as requested by city staff. But Airport Road really doesn't have any facilities to tie into. It's a high traffic, high volume road, and there are some existing features there that would make it difficult to install the sidewalk, pardon me, specifically the existing swale that was previously mentioned, which does capture a significant amount of rainwater upstream from us and direct that then under Airport Road. So it is a somewhat large system. The other waivers that were requested are related to on-site stormwater. So the first was for the material type of the type or the size of the underground conveyance for the 12 and 15-inch pipes in lieu of the 18-inch minimum, and then HDPE instead of RCPE. Public Works again issued a memo on July 31st stating that these were private facilities and waiver was not required. So we will withdraw those 2 waiver requests. We do also, as mentioned, have a copy of the city comment. It's our opinion that the letter is pretty clean at this time, besides some fire comments, which were erroneously left off of the first letter that we received. So we have spoken with the fire department, and we believe that we can comply with all of those comments, and we will include them on our next revised plan submission. But we are happy to go over and end individual comments if city staff would like to.
Thank you. Anything else to add on behalf of the applicant at this time?
I think that's everything, unless you have anything.
Okay. Thank you. City staff, care to comment? Anything you'd like to highlight in the letter?
I think the only thing in the letter that maybe is a little different from other developments. I mean, obviously, we're glad that they're expanding here and able to stay at this location. There's a couple of comments in here from different departments. It's basically a repetitive comment about the access easement that straddles over into the abutting property. Triangle Tech, I believe, is, I don't know if they own that property, if they're the tenant there, but it's a shared access. And they'll have to give us some documentation that the work that they need to do there to expand that driveway is permitted, et cetera. We also feel comfortable that the fire comments can be addressed. And other than that, I don't really have anything to add. Those comments were pretty thorough.
And just to give an update on that easement, yes, it is a comment in there probably 4 or 5 times from different departments. And it is currently being reviewed by both legal teams on either side of that property line. So we expect to have it shortly.
The hope was to bring a signed copy this evening, but that'll take probably another day or two to wrap that up. Both parties are basically in agreement. It's just some minor verbiage. That's where we stand with that.
Those legal reviews can be lengthy. Lawyers get a hold of it. That conclude your presentation then?
It does.
Okay.
And we would respectfully request then approval of the deferral and the land development application.
Thank you. Commissioners, questions for the applicant?
Where do you have bus pickup locations? Are they along city line then?
Yes, so the facility is located along City Line. There's currently a sign there for a stop. We're providing the sidewalk as well as the 5x10 pad for future installation of a shelter if requested.
Thank you.
I believe that's served by the Route 319 and 324 Atlanta service.
You know,
I also serve on the board of Atlanta, so I appreciate it. When the agenda for this evening noted that there was a sidewalk deferral request on City Line Road, which was a concern, but it's excellent to know that it's the airport road, the side that's deferred, that's requesting a deferral, and that sidewalk will be added. And I realize it's not present out there right now along the entire side, but it is a transit location, and it is important for that purpose. If not we have to add sidewalk one section at a time as we're able in these kind of conditions. So I appreciate your consideration there.
Understood.
Otherwise, there's no other questions from the commissioners. Just like to say, it's refreshing to see it's an application that is by right. It's a great use. It's an appropriate use in the appropriate area, an expansion of an existing business here within the city. So great project, and the letter is in good shape. Is there any, I guess you said there's no concerns, but is it your intent to comply with all of the conditions as outlined in the letter?
At this point, we've discussed all the open comments with the fire department. We believe we comply with all of those, and we can comply with everything else from other departments as well.
Okay, great. Thank you. At this time, we'll open it up to any public comment. Are there any members of the public that wish to comment on this application? Seeing none, we will entertain a motion, action on this application. Commissioners?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the project submitted for 2300 City Line Road, land development plan, with the exception that
If I may make a suggestion, you want to vote on the waiver, the deferral first,
Do them separately.
and then,
I was going to do them together, if that's all right. Would you rather we do it separate?
I guess I would rather you do the waiver first. The deferral first. And then vote on the plan with the deferral.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to approve the deferral request for the project at 2300 City Line Road. The deferral is for the sidewalk along Airport Road.
Thank you, Ms. Cohen. We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Barker. Any other comments, questions on this motion from the commissioners? No? All in favor? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting my boards and commissions mixed up. Ms. Sebesta, would you please take a roll call for the vote?
Mr. Malozzi,
Yes.
Mr. Barker,
Yes.
Ms. Cohen,
Yes.
Mr. Burgos.
Yes.
Thank you. Moving forward, is there a motion on the land development application for 2300 City Line Road?
Yes.
Ms. Cohen?
I'd like to make a request for approval of the project at 2300 City Line Road, contingent upon the applicant meeting the requirements of the City of Bethlehem letter dated August 21st, and any references to waivers should be changed to defer the word deferral.
Thank you for that clarification. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. All right. Any additional comment, questions on the motion?
I have a question, motion, sorry.
Mr. Deschler.
Waiver requests, my understanding, are being withdrawn because they aren't necessary, right? We've approved a deferral for the sidewalk. I think that's the only matter before the commission aside from final land development approval. Am I correct?
Correct. We'll withdraw the final two waivers, but we will correct, if on the plan it references waiver for the sidewalk, we'll correct that to deferral.
Oh, that's what, sorry. That's what was meant. Okay.
Do we, would you recommend we memorialize that and specifically that waiver is being withdrawn?
You could put it in the minutes.
Yeah, I think it'll be reflected in the minutes.
that
That's really
okay?
all that matters.
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Any further questions, comments on the motion that's on the table? Ms. Sebesta, would you please take roll?
Mr. Malozzi,
Yes.
Mr. Barker,
Yes.
Ms. Cohen,
Yes.
Mr. Burgos.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Good
much.
luck with your project. Now, the agenda item we've been waiting for.
Mhm.
Move forward to the annual non-utility capital improvement program for the city of Bethlehem. Mr. Evans, Mr. Yandam will be presenting, or allow Ms. Heller, will you be guiding us through? Or,
It's going to be a team effort.
right,
It is.
because that's what makes the dream work,
Yes, it does.
teamwork.
It does. So, yes,
Good planning.
good planning is a team effort. That's true. So, what I just want to, typically, I just start off with a little bit of reminder about why we're doing this. This is the capital plan. It's not a budget. This is a 5-year plan where we take sort of a longer view at where we're going to invest our dollars in typically bricks and mortar kinds of investments. You'll see there's also fleet vehicles in here and things like that. It comes through the Planning Commission for a recommendation. Your action is to make a recommendation to City Council, either yes, we like what we see, or no, we don't. And then City Council takes action on the capital plan as a part of their final budget approvals. So this is very flexible. There's a lot of projects in here that are contingent upon grants and other things, but this is our most accurate look at what our projections are for the next 5 years. So I just think it's good to keep that sort of in mind.
Thank you.
Eric Evans is here from Finance, the city's business manager. You all know him, but I mean, some of the funding sources I think are a little bit more complex than they used to be, because we used to just go out for bond every other year. City has ARPA funds now that we've been allocating to different things, and there's other funding sources in here. There's the stormwater fee, and so Basil and Eric can also talk about some of that as a way to take a bigger an open look. So I guess we could just start to go through there. Is there anything that you want to say, Eric, as an introduction to some of this?
I would just say that there are two documents that work hand in hand. The Word document is a narrative of each of the projects or purchases, whether it's equipment or a playground or what's being done. It's a nice description that's been put together for this particular plan. The Excel spreadsheet has items that range from 5 years, and that left margin really shows you the funding source. So they total through the pages and out here to the cover page. We have them themed by department and then by bureau. So it starts with public safety, then it moves into a lot of public works, and Basil and will be able to lead you through some of these projects momentarily. I will mention that we've been fortunate, the way it's been positioned, the way we've worked the last couple of years, both financially and also with the application of some rescue funds to avoid debt. You'll see at the top of the first page, the bond used to be taken every other year, and that went back, I don't say decades, but that's possibly to 2000 year two or earlier. Since I showed up on the scene in 29 and 11, I know since then certainly it's been happening. Those bonds every year have been paid out or paid off, or they've been spent. They've also mostly been paid off, some in the past, some still exist. But the ones still have balances. You'll see in 13, 17, 19, they will be closed out this year. That's money's have been either remnants of projects that came in under budget, it's getting moved to other projects to get remaining. But after the 19, we did not take a bond in 21 or 23. We don't plan to take one into 26 either. We skipped 21 due to the COVID. And then we pushed it up by 22. The lost revenue, LRR stands for lost revenue replacement. That was part of the ARPA funding. And we did that in 22 and 24. That funding is now in play and being spent down. They both start around 9 million. You can see what's left on the balance, 1 million from 22, 5 million from the 24 funding source. And then by 26 and 28, we've been able to put some funding aside from one-time sources into an allocate into a special reserve account to avoid. So the line item says reserve/bond. We kind of know it's not going to be reserve. We have enough money now set aside that we're going to use reserve, not a bond, in 26 to fund our capital needs. And you'll see that 7.4 million in 26. This is a non-funding year. And then by the time we get to 28, that's a little too early now, 4 years away from now. We're not going to talk about exactly which one it is. So we left reserve/bond to provide flexibility. So from finance, that's always set up. You'll see all the funding, a lot of annual sources with regard to renewable grants, and that's liquid fuels, CDBG. There are some unique federal and state grants included in this, as well as county grants. SWF is a stormwater fund. That's a new funding source that showed up in 2021 that takes care of particular projects. There's a page just for stormwater. So it's not funded with tax dollars, but rather stormwater fee. And I think that is kind of takes care of it from my end. So I'll turn now to Basil then to move through the documents.
I'm going to go over the project quickly. The main project, there's like in public safety, we're getting the ambulance, fire apparatus every year, police vehicle every year, camera, we do that every year too. If there's any question, you can interrupt me anytime. As for traffic, we try to do the design and upgrade two intersection every 2 years. So we pick 1 year, we do the design for two intersection. The following year, we do the upgrades. There's 3 intersections that are going to be completed in 2025. 1, it will be completed this year, and then 3 in 2025. One of the 2025 is a rollover from 2024. Okay, and then we will start design for new intersections. Usually the cost of intersection between 250 and 275.
I did want to point out, I think these and I wouldn't interrupt you, but the
Okay.
intersections that you have in upcoming in, I think 2025 and maybe into 2026 include Club Avenue and Union, Pennsylvania Avenue and Union, Pennsylvania Avenue and Eaton. I know those intersections have come up previously and just in discussions because of like pedestrian safety issues and just to say they're in the works, basically. Because I know that's come up here before.
So it's going to be a roundabout?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. But though, like the plan is to do these intersections as soon as possible to upgrade and meeting all the ADA, all the new standards for intersections. Okay. And then we have the traffic safety improvement. This is just to maintain our 128 intersection in the city year to year. On the street, we have the Linden Street two-way conversion project. This is start funding in end of 2024 into 2025 under the TIP. Now they have $200,000 for it, and we're trying to find $2 million for it on the TIP. It's going to be funded. So we are aiming to start design and preliminary and final design between end of 24, early 25, with construction taking place in 25. Center Street is a similar project. We're switching also, it's a conversion. We're applying for grants for this project, and when we find funding for it, it will be completed in future years, hopefully soon.
And I will say these dead end, obviously, well, they don't dead end. They don't end further south than that, but intersect with Broad Street. And we have a significant amount of money for the entire Broad Street corridor. This will show up later, but for East Broad, there'll be pedestrian safety improvements at those intersections with Broad and Center, Broad and Linden, and then the improvements that come with those corridors. There'll be a pretty significant change to
Yes.
to
The whole area.
Are you referencing the $10 million federal grant?
That's
Part of it
Part
will
of
be on east. Most of it goes to the west, but we have some multimodal money and also the federal Safe
Yeah.
Streets for All money.
Is that grant on the federal state line item? I know it's like 13.7 million.
Yes.
That includes couple of grants
That's in there
Yes.
too.
that I will mention them when we get to the project, what's coming from that federal.
Thank you.
We have the street overlay program. We used to allocate like 1 million a year plus the 750 for liquid fuel. The good thing with the LRR, we were able to allocate 3 million each year for every 2 years. We spend like almost $1.5 million this year. We'll have about, for next year, we have about over 5 million to spend on overlay next year.
Can you say what LRR is again?
It's lost revenue reimbursement or replacement.
Lost revenue reimbursement, that was a category of the ARPA funds that allowed us to apply ARPA funding. If we did not grow the city, we did a lot of calculations, and the treasurer gave us a calculation. If you grow at less than 5.2%, anything less than 5.2 growth is able then to be pushed into projects. So we took advantage of that category, and that's what that is.
And it's worth mentioning under the street overlay program, because UGI, they have been doing a lot of work in the city. We have a cost share agreement that we work with them. So every street that they rip or they work on, they either pay for 100% repaving, or they pay for whatever part. So it depending, like if they only work on half of the road, they pay half, we pay half. If they work on the full width of the road, they pay 100%, and we do the work in-house. That way we save, well, it leads to a lot of savings when we do in-house work. So like in 2025, we are anticipated to have 2.6 million from UGI. So there's a cost share agreement that's coming now. It's at 2.38 that it's being circulated for signature. And we'll be doing projects. Those roads will be paved within the next 2 years. Okay. We have a few vehicles that we're gonna get for street and in this portion. If you have any question of any, please let me know. And then we can get to the East Broad Street active transportation plan and the West Broad Street corridor improvement. As you know, we got the 9.939 or 9,939,000 from a federal grant. This is a matching grant where it's an 80% where we need to match with 20%. This money was only for West Broad Street, but we are making it a whole project. West and East Broad is a one project. So the money that we were able to get from grant from the LR from the state, the multimodal grant for East Broad, is going to be used as match. We're using some LRR or as a match money, and we are applying for another grant, another multimodal grant for about 1.8 million, total about like 12.4 million in cost of that project. That project the agreement is being finalized right now, and it will be going out. An RFP will be going out hopefully or soon, hopefully within a month or two. And then there's 100,000 from UGI, the cost share. When they did work from on Broad Street, we taking the 100,000 that they paid and putting it toward this project as a match too. Okay. And we can go. Stormwater sewer. There's a few projects on here that they are taking place. I'll tell you which one are taking place in 2025 for now. We have the East Boulevard Detention Basin. This is a project that's being completed with Bethlehem Township. We work together. They had HRG as a consultant to do the design. It was 4 detention basins. 2 of them are in the city of Bethlehem. They got over $4 million in grants. So they're going to put the $4 million toward the total of the project. Our cost of the project will only be 32% because for the 2 detention basins that are in the city, which will be around $600,000, a little less than $600,000, whereas the project would have been like $6 million if we didn't use those grants that they received. So those 2 detention basins by themselves, they would have been costing us like $2 to $3 million because they are the bigger part of the project. Those 2 detention basins are 62% of the project. And that's why we're only paying 31% of the total project. Eastern Avenue, Stafco Boulevard storm system, that's going to go under design. We do miscellaneous structure repair every year. We do a few projects under the PRP, the pollution reduction plan. We're doing the swale at Bridle Path. There's a Monocacy Strait drainage issue that's been coming up. We're working on that. East Market Street drainage, West Broad Street, Yellow Tract, and we have the corrugated metal pipes where we're gonna try to. Lately this year we've been having a lot of sinkhole because of the corrugated metal pipe failing. So we're gonna try to TV as much as we can when identify pipes that needs replacement ahead of time, so it's less costly. When a sinkhole occurs, it's emergency, so we pay more. So if we plan ahead, we can get better cost and be ahead of the issues. Then we can go to the facility. There's a few improvement at City Hall. Some of these projects, like the drainage pipe replacement, superior boiler replacement, domestic water tank replacement, they might be completed by the end of this year, early next year. They are already in the work. We kept them here there just because we need to keep the money shown in here at the beginning of next year. So a lot of the fund, if we go back and you see there's 5.8 million for 2025, some of that money is being spent already this year. but we kept it there in case the money, the payment were not completed before December. Then the money is available in January to pay it, and we don't have to wait till like April when the budget is adjusted to pay the invoices. We are removing the under storage tank, the oil, and we are replacing the chiller at City Hall. We go to grounds, Friendship Park improvements. That project, that design is completed. We're just waiting to complete the agreements for the grants that we received. We have about 1.7, close to 1.7 money from CDBG and agreements and grants that we have received. Plans are completed. When the agreement is signed and we have the okay from all the donors, then we're gonna go out for bidding. So it will be bid with by the end of this year, hopefully, and construction will start spring 2025, with
And-
completion during 2025.
And this is pretty much the significant investment project for Northside Alive neighborhood.
Rose Garden improvement. This project is being designed right now. It will start as soon as it's bid, and it will be completed by spring 2025. For this project, we're adding a trail that connects the existing trail to the playground, to the kids' playground all the way in the back. In addition to some tree removal, tree planting, and lighting where it's needed, and few items like that. Benches, receptacles will be added. And we go to recreation. There's a 2025 Parks and Recreation Master Plan that's being started in work right now. I guess they're doing the selection of the, what do you call it?
A consultant was
Consultant.
selected for that. It was approved, the consultant selection was approved, and the contract was approved by City Council last month in August. So we are working our way through a lobbyer with contracts, et cetera. We think that'll be close to about a 12-month process. But we'll be taking a pretty comprehensive look at, and actually, let me just say too, in 2017, there was a report that was created. All of the parks were looked at for compliance with ADA and building codes, and an inventory of all of the facilities there. We have all of that, and that's pretty current. We're going to look more at programming and where should we be investing and changing demographics, and how does that affect the priorities for park use, et cetera. So we'll be working with you. We're setting up a steering committee, and we'll keep you posted on that. And that is in here. It is a plan, but it is in here because the results of that will likely include infrastructure improvements, and those are capital improvements.
And the good thing that we have, we go back to grounds section, we have grounds capital improvements. This covers all improvements at parks and recreational facilities. Also, I want to mention for the ice rink, we are working on building an additional change room. What do you call it? The
Locker room.
locker room, which helps. Right now, we have 2 locker rooms. They fit 2 teams at a time, 1 team in each. If we add an additional locker room, then the changing time could be reduced between 2 teams to play, or 2 groups, and then you can increase the revenue because you will be gaining time where get an extra an hour or 2 a day for people to play. Then we can go to other projects. The bridge repairs that we do every year, it's maintenance. It depends on the reports that we receive from the inspector from PennDOT. We have the Main Street Ramp and Spring Street Ramp. Those projects are affiliated with the Hill to Hill Bridge repair and improvement and expansion. PennDOT is designed the improvement for these two projects. We are trying to put the main street ramp on the tip, be funded by the tip, and at the same time we are applying for grants, and same thing for Spring Street. Hopefully these projects, they were supposed to bid the project in 2025 and start in 2025. Now it's not starting like the hill to hill, not until 26. So we have time to get this on and get funds for it. We'll be improving the Main Street ramp, mostly like under the bridge and all the structure of it. Spring Street is more for pedestrian, for like the sidewalk and this area, because people use it to go and walk on 378 and cross the hill to hill bridge.
What is the Hill to Hill Bridge project delayed by PennDOT now?
Yes.
It's so
It's delayed a year.
okay.
It was supposed to go out to bidding end of this year or early 2025, or start construction early 2025.
Okay.
Not happening. It's pushed to 2026. We have the PennDOT also, they have that project, the Route 378 light replacement that was supposed to take place in 2024. It's pushed to 2025 right now. They are funding it and everything. They did design and the funds, and they're replacing it. Monocacy, Way Phase 2. Design started this year. Construction will take place spring, summer 2025. It will probably be bid out January, February. And this will connect from Churnsville Road all the way to the TNL Trail. Mostly from Churnsville to Union Boulevard. It will be a paved trail with some wood bridge. One section of it, it's wood. And then the rest, it will be through the sidewalk with just wayfinding signs and ADA ramps across. We got a grant for West 4th Street improvement. It's in the Bethlehem Business District. It will be a sidewalk replacement, tree removal and replacement, improvement of ADA ramps in the area. And then we have the South Bethlehem Greenway. We're working on the acquisition of the land to connect the last phase, which would connect to Hallertown. This should be finalized soon, and hoping we can get a grant to do construction right after. That's it.
There's one project, I think, under DCED.
Family
Yeah,
shelter.
the shelter. There is a property that was actually my pages were,
Yeah, I
Little
couldn't
out
see
of
it here on
order.
the PDF.
yeah. But there's one project for DCED. There's a property that was basically donated to the city. The city's working on accumulating some grants to upgrade that, bring it up to code, and then have it occupy 11 shelter units. So because it's a little bit different to have a project like that in here, but because it's infrastructure investment, it's included here as well.
Going back, I want to talk about the federal money that we see on here for 2025 and 2026. There's about $21 million. 10 of it, almost 10, is for the West Broad Street. The rest is between the Spring Street, Main Street ramps improvement, and like the lightings and a couple other projects.
May I have questions?
I think you already know what I'm going to ask.
I can't even guess.
The Broad Street project,
Yes.
are they continuing the Acorn lights from 4th Avenue up?
It is. It has not been designed yet, so we didn't even do preliminary design. All what we have is the concept plan, kind of, that was done by TPD last year. which we use to submit for the grant and all of that. Preliminary design still has to be bid out. And so I cannot answer this. We don't know which way we're going to continue.
Okay.
Do you want them to continue or not?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Oh, he wants them
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
I've been asking that question for 10 years.
Well, it is like the project, the Broad Street project is kind of continuing the downtown look all the way throughout, both ways,
Yep.
east and west. So definitely, I would assume lights would be a part of it.
Yeah, and I think the lighting, it can be, so this is really all pedestrian, bike, transit directed, and safety is a big factor in all of that. Lighting certainly is a factor in safety as well. So lighting can be paid for by the grant. I think as Basil's noting, we have to see what happens when we get into actual design, because the development of a protected bike lane and some of the transit infrastructure, it's not cheap, and it's a very long corridor. So we'll really have to see how the money plays out. But I do agree to continue the Acorn lighting westward would, it's something we've talked about for quite a while too. It's just a very expensive.
So there is a preliminary plan you said for Broad Street. So do we ever see it, or how does anybody get to see it?
Well, we did
We present.
yeah, I think we presented here. There's a Broad Street active
Yeah,
transportation
but
plan.
that was severely changed since then.
That was just,
They were talking about doing the islands in the center,
No, there's no islands in the center.
but wasn't that discussed at one time?
that was, but it has not been designed or decided how to continue on it or what to do yet. This all will happen through the preliminary design process.
Were the islands part of that plan that we saw, the TBD plan?
No,
Yeah,
No.
that was a separate,
no. We did not propose islands.
we did talk about that at one point.
Well, and there was a plan,
There's some.
I
place-
forget what that plan was, but we looked at the possibility of islands on Broad, because apparently years ago there were islands there. I was told, I mean, I don't remember them, but most businesses don't want islands on those lanes because it eliminates the left turn access into their properties. And
East Broad Street has islands.
well, we're
continuing
going
the
to
islands.
we're going to continue.
So I just want to say I'm
That's true.
assuming that in some area there might be island continuation.
When we talked with the public, one of the things that makes the downtown so attractive on Broad Street is the
Is
fact
the
that it
island.
does have the islands that have larger trees. So they are going to be continued in that direction. That's
In
true.
East Broad Street.
It's a high street. Yes.
And my other question was going to be about the road restoration. When you said about the, who was the water or
UGI.
UGI, I mean, yeah. So if they pay for, if they disturb 50% of the road, they replace that 50% of it, is that correct?
So the permit requests them to replace 50% of the road.
Right.
Instead of, if the road, we see that the road is in a rating of like A, it needs to be replaced fully curb to curb.
Right.
What they do is they pay the city the 50%, and we pay another 50%, and we pave it in-house. Or we contract it out, but like,
Yeah.
we put the money to make sure that we get a curb to curb road completed.
What's
That's
the,
our target
what's the budget for paving for this year?
for 2025
Yeah,
or 2024.
2020, both. What's
2024, I know we're spending what, maybe like close to 2 million in 2024. We have about 5 million.
How much?
5 million, over 5 million. for
It's almost
2025.
5.3 according to
5.3
this.
million.
Yeah.
you don't get very much for that though, right?
Well, that's a significant
why-
jump.
I
Yeah,
know, but
that's why
still, you
we
don't.
try. That's why we try to do in-house as much as possible. Because like this year, we did 2 roads under contract.
You
Were
get,
Stafco Boulevard and Park Drive. Gate Drive. What was it? On I forgot which road. Like two roads, they cost us almost like $700,000, $800,000. Whereas sometimes we do, but they are big roads, wide roads. They needed a lot of traffic control and all of that. In-house, it cost us like 700 for like maybe 10 roads. So that's why we try to do as much paving as possible in-house. Instead of paying $100, $105, $110 per ton for a contractor,
Yeah.
we paying $60 to $70 per ton in-house. That's why we try to increase.
How can that be? You're paying $85 a ton just for the material,
Just for the materials?
Yeah.
This year,
just for wearing.
I don't know how much it is this year, but I know it's usually around $70, $60 to $70. That's what it was last year. I didn't check exactly this year.
Yeah.
Where the contractor is taking $100 some dollars, because of course he has to make money on the ton and the labor and the people he has. So that's why we try to improve and do in-house work as much as possible. And that's why at one point we tried to sub out the hauling. Thank you. Sub out the hauling. That way we get more out of our guys, then we can have two crews that are doing paving at the same time. And we spend a lot of money on ADA ramps. That's where the big costs go.
Yes.
Each ramp costs around $8,000 to $9,000. This year we did 91
We
ADA ramp.
we got bad roads, man.
Yeah.
We got some really bad roads.
We try to tackle them as much as possible. We have over like 260 miles in the city of roads.
What percentage of roads are they overlaid per year?
We do almost like 4 lane miles per year
Yeah. How many
in-house.
lane miles do we have in the city? I mean, if you ever
260.
so if you do the math, it would be 50 years before they got resurfaced again.
And the goal that every 20 years
Yeah.
the road needs to be repaved. By the time the 20-year pass, there's no way you can keep up with it. It's so hard. Like we need at least 2.5 every year. Every year. We never had that money in the past years. We always had a million and a half. For 2 years, sometimes it was $1.5 million for 2 years.
Yeah, all through from 2010 to 2020, it was $1 million for a 2-year spend out of the funding. And then we use some liquid fuels, add to that, even some CDBG funding for a little bit to get to
Not
it.
anymore. They don't
Not
use-
anymore. But we went from that 1 million, and then in 2022, we tripled it to go 3 million for a 2-year spend. And 24 was another 3 million for a 2-year spend, plus some liquid fuels as well.
Yeah.
And then the big with UGI, that's 2.3 now for next year alone. So some of the UGI reimbursement. So you put that $3 million or $1.5 million that's left of it, plus the 2.3 of UGI and some liquid fuels, then you have a bigger net than we've had. But it's a lot of catch up, as you just said, Tom. It's been years of, for years, Mike Alcoa would be here asking as much, and it's what's left, how much can you afford, and how much is left out of that $5 to $6 million of the capital budget for the whole city. You need a fire truck, you need this, City Hall's falling apart, and the roads kind of got pushed back a little bit, and that's what allowed them to get. So now it's a race to catch up, not only do what we're doing, but also the years of not keeping up.
So you actually did a study on if you're paving a road in-house, are you saying it's cheaper, that much cheaper to do it in-house than it is to sub it out?
Yes.
And-
But the in-house, don't forget, like we're limited with the in-house resources.
Yeah, I know. I mean, and
Yeah.
plus,
Unfortunately, and I'll give you an example. This year, we're down 6 vacancies in the street department who does paving. That bureau is 24 individual. Okay, 6 are out, 6 are vacancy. We have 3 out on OGI, and you have 2 or 3 on vacation. So that bureau, when it's supposed to be running on 24 staff, is running on between 10 to 14 max. And although all of this, we were able to do almost 9,000 tons of asphalt and paving this year. With the two storms, two
Mostly
major
overlays,
storms.
mostly overlays though, correct? Or is that full depth?
Most of, no, that's
9,000 tons, I mean, is that, I mean, that's a lot of paving, but
Yeah.
if it's overlays, but if you're talking full depth, you can lose
no,
nine,
no,
you
no.
can
that-
lose
that's
2,000 tons in
overlay.
a,
That's overlay. That's
Okay.
not full depth.
Yeah.
No, and there's some place there's like repairs, but it's not a full depth
Yeah.
road
Yeah.
restoration. No, this is just. Oh, we're not talking about road restoration. We're talking about overlay.
well, you said 24 guys, that's a lot of guys for paving. I mean, is
But
that,
don't
do you have a,
forget-
do you have a milling crew? and a-
No,
and a-
no, those 24 guys for the street bureau of streets.
Okay, so there's street sweepers,
There's,
sweep everything.
there's sweepers. You have the vacuum that's cleaning.
Yeah.
You have the repairs on different places. The crew, the paving crew is about 10 or 12.
Because one thing I noticed, and again, I'm not, don't take it, anybody take it the wrong way. I mean, but one thing I noticed, because when I see the city paving, that catches my attention. And if they're overlaying, a street somewhere, if I was overlaying that street, I'd have 13, 15 triaxles lined up and we'd knock that out in a day, 2 days. And I notice that the trucking isn't what it should be. And there's a lot of time that, there's a lot of downtime.
That's why we don't have the guys for the trucking.
Yeah.
We
So
don't
do you
have the
outsource
trucks
it?
for it.
Do you outsource it?
That's why we are trying to
Yeah.
outsourcing
Yeah.
the hauling
Yes.
so we can move faster, so it's more efficient. That's one of the things that we're trying to do, I mentioned earlier. And this is our goal of instead of having our guys doing the hauling and wasting 4 or 5 guys on triaxle,
Right.
those guys are another crew paving another area.
Right.
Then you have the hauling, just removing the milling and bringing the asphalt.
100% right.
So this is our goal. But with the limited capacity that we have, right? Like if we are fully staffed,
Yeah.
you can have 2 crews.
Mhm.
When you are not fully staffed, even if you have the hauling, you cannot have 2 crew. You have 1 crew, but you can. This is our target that for the future year. That's why this year we did not spend much money from the budget that we have.
Yeah.
Because we want to keep it for 2025, aiming that we are more staffed and we can go toward the hauling for a better in-house efficiency and work.
And who's the head of the paving? Like who runs it?
Tom Ridgick is the superintendent of the bureau. Al is the supervisor who kind of take care of all the paving. Al Abbott.
Okay.
Anything else?
Well, thanks. I wanted to ask that for a long time.
Sure, no problem. If I had it in front of me, we could have went usually. Actually, it is posted on the city website.
Yeah.
What street are being paved each year?
Yeah, it's an overlay map. Pretty cool. Year by year, you click on, see exactly what roads
Oh,
got
really?
Yeah,
done. Yeah.
Oh, good.
you can look into that.
Why'd you tell Matt when he first started talking?
I just remember. I just remember.
That's funny.
Well, that gets my attention for some reason.
Some reason. we know the reason.
Street lights out to Pennsylvania Avenue.
Yeah.
Just down to Tom's house.
That's part
Yeah, that's right. Maybe on Prospect Avenue too.
Are there any other questions?
Yeah. But you can see though, Mayor Reynolds is committed to the additional paving, what we put in last year and again this year. I think you'll continue to see that difference, but it takes a couple of years to catch it up. We'll get there.
I'm looking for a job. I'm thinking of going back into it. If he wants to hire me.
We need somebody.
Down crew, so.
Okay.
You want to come back and pave?
I'll run the skidder for you.
Eddie, yeah, it's like you can run heavy equipment, right?
Yeah.
It's right here. How about the planning commission can help?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
It's a crew.
We can take any help.
Just get a CDL and you're good.
We can take any help.
All right. Any other questions or anything else you want to draw our attention to?
That's all what I think we have from our end.
Mr. Evans, anything?
No, that's it, sir. Thank you.
All right. All right, commissioners, our role tonight with the non-utility capital plan is to make a recommendation to the city council, which will ultimately vote on the plan. Anyone care to do that?
I'd like to make a recommendation to pass the capital improvement program plan as submitted to city council favorably.
Mr. Cohen, thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Barker. All right, any further discussion, questions? None? May we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Malozzi,
Yes.
Mr. Barker,
Yes.
Ms. Cohen,
Yes.
Mr. Burgos.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our last agenda item is, and thank you,
Sure.
Mr. Yanam.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Good to see you once a year here, Mr. Evans. Thank you. And thanks for your indulgence and letting us let the applicant go first. I figured that would be a quick
Yeah, I
one.
thought we talked about
Yes.
this.
All right.
That's that.
Any items for general discussion?
Oh, you did?
It was
For
a
Pier
lot of you
Street?
last Friday, I think.
Yeah, for like December, I believe.
Yeah,
Yep, see, I have it on.
12/12.
Yeah, because that's right. You took the packet. You took the packet before I changed out the summary. That's what it was. Because I'm seeing your cross now. Everything.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like-
yeah, no.
I'm like, I know I did that while we were sitting in staff today.
So this, we have oops. Oh, is this still working here? Yeah, okay. Included is the packet of the summary of things that would be coming sort of down the pike soon. There's one on Elliott Avenue, the dead end of Elliott Avenue on the western end of the city. You've seen that before as a site plan a couple of times. They're working out some slope issues, and you probably will see that next month. 608 Pierce is a project in the student overlay zone where they're proposing 5 townhomes that would be for students. Echo Pax is out on Easton Road, part of the LVIP, and they're expanding. I think it's the second time that they're expanding, so they're doing very well there. 2141 Commerce Center Boulevard is what I think we have referred to as the gateway site. It's at 412 and Commerce Center Boulevard. You may remember that at one point, several years ago now, there was a Walmart that was proposed there, and then it was withdrawn because Walmart was no longer building bricks and mortar, but they're back. They will be in front of you next month for a site plan review for warehousing. And then the final one is just a consolidation. Oh, is that on here? No, that's not on here. Oh, there's a small proposal for an apartment building. That's infill development. They'll take down a single family dwelling and infill with apartments on Maple Street. It is a permitted use. They can do that by right.
Lonnie or Rob?
Honestly, I don't know.
Joe Renko.
Yeah, that would probably be Villani.
Yeah.
I just remember the sticky note.
Because, yeah, yeah.
Black
Yeah.
Forest?
Black Forest
Yes,
does their
Black Forest.
projects, yes. So things are continuing to flow in, and we're starting to initiate some other planning projects, along with the Parks and Rec Master Plan. We're working with the committee on the south side for some zoning amendments for accessory dwelling units, in conjunction with the Safe Streets for All. We're working on a complete streets manual for the city. Those things will come to you in the future as well, but they're all just getting kicked off now.
Mr. Dashler, anything to add? All right. Commissioners, motion to adjourn? Unless
Motion
anything
to
else?
adjourn.
All right.
Second.
And a second? All right, we'll just adjourn. And I apologize. I was in Atlanta board meeting. What we all in favor is the call for vote. I didn't mean to step on anybody.